does customize animation to quite an extent. For example, I'm clicked on slide 1, and from my ribbon I'm going to click the Animations tab. What I'd like to bring up is the Animation Pane, and I have a button here in the Advanced Animation group called Animation Pane. When I click that button, I can see no objects are animated. What I'd like to do first of all is animate my title, so I'm going to click on my title, and particularly the frame, the placeholder. I'm then going to go to the Animations tab in my ribbon and click the Add Animation button. Animations fall into 3 groups: entrance animations in green, emphasis in yellow, and exit in red. I'm going to start by adding an entrance animation. For example, I might want my title to fly in, so I'll click Fly In. It's flying in from the bottom. I may want it to fly in from the top, so that's when I go to Effect Options in my Animations tab in the ribbon. The Effect Options button lets me choose the direction, and if I want to fly in from the top, I'll click From Top. It's flying in a little bit fast, so then I'm going to go to the duration option, and I'm going to increase it from half a second to a whole second. To preview my animation, I can click the Preview button on the left of my ribbon, or I could click the Play button at the top of my animation pane. When I look at the slide, I can see there's a little 1 on my slide. This indicates that this object is animated, and it's the first thing to be animated. It's also verified on my animation pane. I can see that when I click, the title, How to Make Money Quick, will fly in, and it's a green animation, so it's an entrance. I'd like to add another effect to my title, and that is an emphasis effect. I'm going to go to Add Animation into the Emphasis group. I may want it to pulse, I may want it to desaturate, or I may want it to darken. There are many options, including spin. So I might go darken. Now I can see there's a second animation on this slide, and the second animation is applied to the title, and it's been told to darken on click. Also, I see the number 2 appearing here. So this has got 2 animations, first an entrance and then an emphasis. What I might like to do now is click my subtitle and the frame around the placeholder. I'm going to add an entrance animation, and I'm going to ask it to fade or wheel. If I click wheel, I can then go to Effect Options and choose 2 spokes, 3 spokes, 4 spokes, or 8 spokes. So I'll choose 8 spokes. And now I've animated my subtitle. I'd now like to animate this object here. So I'm going to click the frame around the outside, and I'm going to click the Add Animations button. And I might ask it to fly in also. I'll go to Effect Options and ask it to fly in from the left. I'll go to Duration and increase it to a whole second, so it takes a little bit longer to come in. What I might like to do now is play my animation by hitting the play button at the top of my animation pane and just check how it's looking. Now I'd like to add some exit animations. For example, I'm going to click this object here, I'm going to add an animation, and it's an exit animation, and it might be fly out. If I go to Effect Options, I can tell it to fly out to the bottom right. And if I go to Duration, I can make it fly out slower by going to a full second. I might then want to click on the subtitle and the frame around the outside and add an exit animation to the subtitle, such as wipe. I might increase the duration so it wipes slowly to 2 seconds. And lastly, I'd like my title to exit, so I'm going to click on the frame around the outside of my title and add an animation and an exit animation, and I'll get it to fly out. I'll go to Effect Options and tell it to fly out to the bottom right, and also make the duration longer. So now I'd like to play my animation and see how it looks. Excellent. When you're playing your animation using the play button on the animation pane, or whether you use the preview button in the ribbon, you can see that each object is automatically animated. In reality, when you're running the slideshow, you'll be clicking the mouse or pressing N for next to trigger each animation. So bear that in mind as well. In fact, let's just go down to the bottom right of the status bar and click the slideshow button and just check. So when I go to my slideshow, I have to click or press N to run the first animation. Then I have to click to run the second animation, which is to darken. Click to run the third animation, which is my 8-spoke wheel of my subtitle. Click to run the next animation to fly in. Click to fly out. Click to wipe out. And click to fly out to the bottom right. And to escape from my slideshow, press the escape key on your keyboard. Now we need to animate slide 2, so I'm going to click on slide 2 in my slides pane. I'm going to click on the title and the frame around the outside, and I'm going to add an animation. I want my title to float in, and I'll ask it to float in by float down from the top. I might increase the time that it takes to do that to 1.5 seconds. I'm now going to click on my bulleted list in the frame around the outside and add an entrance effect. So I'll get that to also fly in. And I'll ask it to fly in from the left. And I'll increase the duration so it takes a little longer. I'll now play my animation to see how it looks. I'll now hit my slideshow button at the bottom of my status bar and just check that as I click, each object comes in. So it's still important for you to click to bring each object in at the pace you want to speak at when you're doing your presentation. And then press escape to get out of the slideshow.